Thanks for calling us. How can I help you? Join Jude Matulich-Hall, the author of the EVERSTEAM Chronicles, as she talks to other authors, artists, and other creatives on titles, talk, and tipples.
Hi, I'm Jude Matulich-Hall, and this is Titles, Talk, and Tipples. My guest with me this evening is PF Felix, the writer of the Rennington Chronicles.
The Night Professor.
Welcome, PF. Yeah, great to have you here. But we are drinking rum, so white rum and black rum.
White rum and
the black woman's drinking the white rum, the white woman's drinking the black rum. Let's cheers, because life is beautiful. So, you tell me about the Rennington Chronicles.
Okay, well, the Rennington Chronicles is going to be a series. Right now, there's only a few short stories. One that you read and helped edit, and I love you for it. And then the first novel, The Night Professor. So the Rennington Chronicles is going to be a series of paranormal romances based on a couple of different things, because I believe in inclusivity. I don't believe that there is just white or black or one opinion versus another. I believe that all of us are just in this big melting pot of so many different things, and so I want to reflect that in these stories. But the twist is, the paranormality will focus on demons and witches, because that's my cup of tea in terms of that mega genre. I call it a mega genre.
Yeah.
Werewolves.
Oh yeah.
That counts as paranormal, but I'm gonna stick with demons and witches. I'm gonna stick with my crew. This particular story, The Night Professor, is about a young girl. She's a beautiful Jewish girl with raven rouge long hair. This young woman is wrongfully convicted for the accidental death of her biracial girlfriend. So she has a biracial girlfriend, and because of the Black Lives Matter frenzy that was taking over the Bay as well as all over the world, she was convicted, even though she really didn't do anything wrong. And her mother happens to be the mayor of the town. And so there were a lot of people after her, the mother, because of all the, things that she's done, and they took it out on her daughter. But the mother, being the power player and the powerful woman that she is, instead of having her daughter go to prison, she worked the system and had her daughter do hard community service at this backwater town that no one's ever heard of on the East Coast, the northern East Coast, and it's called Rennington. Yes. It has flavors of Salem in it, and I'll just leave that for you.
Yeah. No spoilers.
No spoilers. But I said Northeast for a reason. Beautiful history and that history that they have over there. And so she's traveling across the country. She's in this town, Rennington, to serve her time, and she notices some strange things going around. But she fights her way through it, because she's doing hard time. She's working in a kitchen as a dishwasher, not the luxurious life that she had before. Right when she's about to bolt, because, the memories of the death of her girlfriend and the conspiracy that surrounded it, it started haunting her. And that to me is like PTSD. And I'm not going to tell you what the girlfriend did to her to cause that PTSD. But I will say that love can be a very dangerous thing. It can almost be as worse as possession. And that's the play of events that's happening in the book. The girl goes there, she's serving her time, and then she runs into this brand new professor that they hired in the school. And he takes everyone by storm. He's this amazing person, a wonderful philanthropist. She happens to find out later that he's, really affluent. But he's so humble, and everyone thinks he's just an angel. And I surprise for you. He is kind of the mastermind of everything she's been through for the last 10 years, and she didn't even know it. So she basically walked into a death trap. Her mother tried to save her and put her in a situation worse than death. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a quiz on your book. Okay. You ready?
Ready.
Take a breath.
I'm ready.
Okay. After the explosion at the beginning of the book, what saturated the air like a clamorous symphony.
The smoke.
Oh.
And the noise.
Yes.
And this, I'm so, you are an amazing, intelligent woman, and I'm not saying that brown nose, permanently brown. In all seriousness, and that's just to loosen up the mood. It's inclusivity. Yeah. We're in that inclusive era.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's keep it chill.
Yes.
In 2016, the city of Oakland suffered a major calamity called the Ghost Ship Fires, where 36 innocent artists, white, Black, Mexican, just a plethora of different cultures, they lost their lives. And I believe there was some higher power that's responsible, but an innocent Caucasian male with Asian kids, I think, he took the fall for it. One person can't be responsible for that fire. But when I remember coming to work on the BART, and the travesty was close to where I commute to work, and just seeing it and hearing all the sirens and all the noise and the smoke, that feeling of it caking the air like a clamorous symphony is where I got that from. Kind of like, that's somebody, that's a soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the sound that I'm trying to say that people are hearing, not necessarily just the glass. Because once something's exploded, there'll be a vibration in the air for a little while. That being token, just the sound of death in the air. And I'm commuting through it to get to work. That resonated with me. That actually, kind of bewitched me, if you will, for lack of a better term. And so that's what I was describing when I was talking about the explosion. I was thinking about that building that exploded needlessly.
Yeah. Oh, I love this.
Can I get an A, teacher?
You do. So the next question is, which character said, "Please tell Father, forgive me. I pray that my death restores his honor"?
Duke Fuang Isong. Duke. He's a law student that is in a law school with Myra. They're very close friends. They're both a big, prominent, powerful member of the LGBT community, and their legals in the law school that they attended before this travesty. And Duke is, the story of Duke goes back to a lot of my Asian friends that are from the Caribbean, okay? Because the Caribbean, a lot of people don't know, it's called the West Indies for a reason. Mm-hmm. A lot of people from Greater Asia, that's Korea, that's Laos, that's a lot of other countries, not just China, but they migrated to the Caribbean. So there's this huge fusion. That's why you have Rihanna's and you have Nicki Minaj's. Their Asiatic features are really because we are mixed with a lot of, even me, as chubby as I am, you can see that it's not just African. There's something else.
Sure.
And I say that to say that I grew up with a lot of these kids in Miami, and I know the fear that they have for their parents, and even though they're having pressures in a lot of the sororities or fraternities that they're in, or these secret societies that they join because they have to for their careers, they're still in the back of that mind that crippling, effect of, you're coming from a culture where your parents are harsh. And if you went to jail, if you failed and you're a law student, you're a failure to them. And I'm trying to speak to that with a sense of community. Mm-hmm. Because I don't want some Asian person reading the story, and it has happened to me, and thinking, who are you? You're Black. You have no right to write that. I'm like,
right, yeah.
It's in my community. I can tell you about people from Laos. I can tell you about people from Korea. I'm trying to convey that in a very beautiful yet, dramatic way.
Yeah, and this scene is a very intense scene. Oh, yeah. I mean, I won't spoil the scene, but it's a very intense scene. The quote's in Chinese, and then you translate it in English. Do you speak Chinese, or how did you get? Did you like Google translate it, or writer's secrets?
Writer's secret for me was to use Google Translate front and back. Right? Because I really wanted to say what it's supposed to say. It's when you translate forward, meaning from the from English to the intended language, the word doesn't translate properly. So I did it front and back, and then I asked some Asian friends from coworkers. I'm like, how does this sound? And they were like, oh, it sounds like 80s kung fu, and it sounds so dramatic. I'm like, but it's still true, right? And they agreed with me. But yeah, I use Google Translate. I don't speak Mandarin, but I would love to one day. I just don't speak it today. And the reason why I put it in there is to show a sense of community. It's one thing when we're talking about another culture and we just, glamorize or dramatize their situation, right? Yeah. It's another thing when we're saying, I hear you, I'm putting it in your language because I feel you and I'm trying to express to you respect for your community. And you see that with the other translations, in the book, the Spanish, and of course, and Spanish I speak a little bit, poquito español, and then you're gonna see a little bit of French, a little bit of German, and then even Hebrew, because there's a biblical foundation in the story sneaking around.
disturbing, that little clip from Häxan by Benjamin Christensen.
My thumbs hurt from watching it.
So did hers.
There was a lot of torture going on, and you pretty much get anything out of somebody by torturing them if you want to get answers.
Yeah, and I got some good answers taking that thumbscrew to him.
Yeah. Of course, they didn't really show all the good, gory stuff.
Yeah, they were very polite back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that were made now, it'd be pretty gruesome. I mean, it was gruesome enough watching it with those spikes and the collar and the flame under the person. And
well, the good thing is we got to see the very first chiropractor.
Oh, yeah. Talk about passive yoga. You know, you just set yourself up on that table. Yeah, get a good stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were some torture devices for you. Be careful. We don't recommend not doing it at home. Do try it at home.
Yeah, you can go in your shop and make your own torture devices and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, invite some ghouls and ghosts and goblins and gremlins over.
Yeah.
Have a party.
Yeah.
So I'm learning Hangul or Korean right now. I know like this much, but I'm also Buddhist, and so like Asian culture. I've always been just in love with Asian culture. Yeah, and so I was like really happy to see an Asian character portrayed in your book. I mean, and so and that's something too. It's like when I write a lot of, I bring in a lot of different characters. Like I have Indian characters, I have Asian characters, Black characters, and so it's like, even though I'm not in those cultures, I do write about what I know of them and what I've experienced and stuff. So
you kind of are immersed. I mean, you're so comfortable with the way you're talking to me. I feel like I'm talking to a sister from a different mister. You know what I mean? You're kind of immersed in it based on how you treat people and how you act, how open-minded you are. All of that are the secrets that everyone can read and say, wow, this is a dope person. This is a cool person. This person is chill, versus someone who's faking the funk. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that, faking the funk.
Girl, let me tell you.
Don't fake the funk.
We'll see it.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so one more question. Oh, will you say Duke's name again? So Duke is spelled D-U-C-Q-U-E.
Duke Phuong Lee Song.
Phuong Lee Song. Okay.
Phuong Lee Song. And there's a reason why the characters have the certain names that they have. For example, the other friend that's arrested, and you didn't bring up her name, so I won't bring up her name, but Delphine means queen in French. Oh. Duke, I used a French name because, believe it or not, Asia's becoming, if not already, the world power. They're becoming a world power. So I use that to give a regality to it. He's a law student, his parents are wealthy, and then his name is Duke. They chose that American name versus Tom or Blake or something else that's different because of that aristocracy that they're starting to get into with regard to their power,
right?
Their wealth.
Yeah.
So that's, you're you're making me sell my soul, but I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what this show's all about. Sell your soul. No.
There's the Baron Sunstein. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. So who was dressed in bargain basement clothes, poor choice of wig, lack of cosmetics, trying to hide their identity, but the onlooker could still tell that she was pretty?
Okay. I'm going to give you two names. It's either Amira Rose Moore or Myra Benjamin. Take your pick.
It was Amira. This scene was Amira. She was in the back of a limousine, and the driver notices. Was it the back of a limousine?
No, she was in the back of a transport car. So
yeah. It was shortly after a scene with a limousine. So
yeah, the limousine.
I got the cars confused, but yeah. So she's in the back of a transport, and the driver is noticing this of her. So
yes, she is. This is the trick. So the mother's there for a PR move. And, you remember Paris Hilton? Let's channel Paris Hilton when she got arrested. And then all of a sudden walked out of jail because her mother forgave her. I was thinking of that when I wrote that scene. So she's dressed up in covert clothing because she's sneaking off to do something else, and they'll have a record of her serving her time. But she's really supposed to be in that prison like, every other criminal. But she's leaving her West Coast town to go to Rennington. So she's en route to Rennington, and she has to hide her identity. And so that's what I was trying to describe there. I hope I did a good job of doing that. Because, she's in a expensive pinstripe suit in court in chapter 1. And then all of a sudden she's in bargain basement clothing. That should convey that, she's at rock bottom. She has to look differently. She has to act differently. And she has to use a different name. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Great. Well, you get a big old A++. And 100%. Good job. PF Felix on her own work has got a 100%.
I know my work. Wow.
Okay, so besides being an author, you are a musician. Well, I'm sure you're many things. You're a mom, you're a musician. So you're as a musician, what do you play? I know what you play, but go ahead and tell the audience.
I play different types of music, but I grew up in the church, unfortunately.
I grew up in the church.
I did my time. I love the devil's advocate for one line and one line only. Out for time served. Like Keanu Reeves nailed that part because it's true. Like when you're in church as a young person, it feels like you're doing time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was 4 years old when I was told the very first time that I was going to go to hell because I was laughing in church.
Oh, yeah.
I was told by a little old lady sitting behind me that I was going to go to hell. So I think that, thanks, little old lady, you kind of paved the way for this life of darkness.
Those little old ladies, they really, really need to knock it off.
They think they're scaring us.
This one lady was crazy enough to bring a goat's head, a skull, and bury it in the church. And we were like, okay, enough's enough. I mean, we're from the Caribbean, but really, she tried to curse the church. She was really bitter. And I'm like, why are they so bitter at this point in their life? They should be very happy. They're done, or
yeah.
So, what's going on there? But that's how she ended it, burying a goat's skull in the church. Yeah, that's my childhood. Yeah,
that's your childhood. Okay, so we got off track. No. It's the rum.
Blame it on that. No, I'm just kidding. Don't edit that. Yeah, it's the rum. I totally agree, Jude. I totally agree.
It is. Yeah. All right. So you were. What instrument do you play?
B-flat clarinet.
B-flat clarinet.
Yeah, B-flat clarinet. That's what most jazz musicians use. That's the common clarinet that you see in high school marching bands or in symphonic band. But I play the B-flat clarinet. I mostly played gospel, but I like to play a little jazz. And I've actually played symphonic band a little bit in high school. But as I grew up as an adult, I kept with the jazz and, of course, the church music until I was released at 26. So, I mean, that's pretty much my genre. But my daughter's learning the clarinet now. She got accepted into a program.
Oh, wow. Oh, goodness.
I hate to say I'm a soccer mom, but darn it, I'm a soccer mom because I'm, with regard to music. Because
you're a musician's mom. Oh, musician's mom is so much better than an athlete's mom. No offense to anybody.
No, it's right. Musician mom rules, and she's a B-flat clarinetist, so it's a clarinet yay big. I'm out of reeds, which is what you need to, place on the mouth. Play. Yeah, you're a musician too. Yeah. So it's I have it. And I love it, and my daughter plays it now, and I'm just happy that I was able to pass that down to her.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the type of music that I play.
So
I can read sheet music.
That's huge. That is so huge. Oh yeah, to be a musician that can read sheet music. I argue with my child and my husband all the time because they don't read music, but they're both musicians. They're amazing musicians, multiple instruments, bass, guitar, drums, piano. I mean, they're quite quite diverse in their music playing, but they don't read music. And they always make fun of me because I'm like, no, I you got to write it out for me on music if you want me to play it, because I can come up with stuff, but I'm not going to remember it. I'll come up with something really cool on my violin off the top of my head, but then I'm never going to remember it. So it's got to be written down. So anyway, and I'm a classical musician, and that's how it has to be said, is I'm a classical musician that reads sheet music. It's a different language, you know.
They say that, people that read music or even play music, because I never discredit anybody for not reading sheet
music. Yeah. No.
Because of
it's a joke. Everybody, it's a joke. Totally. Everybody that does these jokes knows that it's a joke. It's like when in an orchestra, when people make fun of the violist, or the see. Yeah.
Hey, bad JuJu.
Yeah, J-Bone.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Owls.
Owls who?
Yeah, they do.
Hey, J-Bone.
Yeah.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Howl.
Howl who?
How will you know if you don't open the door? That's good.
What do you get when you cross a snail with a porcupine?
I don't know. What do you get when you cross a snail with a porcupine?
A slow poke.
A slow poke.
A lion is truth, but preachers lie. A tree's known by its fruit, and gods never die. Teachers inspire, but experience educates. Better take your oaths to heart, lest judgment churn fate.
The Nutcracker scene in chapter 8.
Nice.
Because
I've played. We have a live Nutcracker orchestra here, and I've played in it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Like, where am I living?
And that's the thing, is like even big Nutcracker productions will often use canned music. Not many productions are using live orchestras anywhere, even the big ones. There are very few. I think there are like, it's some weird arbitrary number. Like there are only 12 live orchestra productions of the Nutcracker in the United States, and we're one of them in Little Astoria, Oregon. Although the last 2 years, of course, we haven't. But yeah.
I'm obsessed with the Nutcracker, Tchaikovsky's brilliant work. And for me, I had to write about it. And so I dedicated a whole chapter to it for the music, as well as a romantic piece that I wanted to stick in there that I thought really, set the mood for some drama.
Nice. I love it. I love when writers bring in aspects of themselves. I dropped little Easter eggs in my book about music and just key signatures and things like that. And it's like, it's okay. The audience will get the non-musical audiences will still understand the story, but the musical audiences will be like, oh, they'll really get it.
This is what they're going to do. They're going to worship you for that. Because you know why? Because we've lived in COVID. We've been stuck at home. And I think people are forgetting the arts because they're tired or they're miserable or whatever. Mm-hmm. So the little that we can do, especially someone with you in this great platform, but the little that we can do to kind of remind people, hey, there was a world before this, It didn't deal with tech. It dealt with music. It dealt with passion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think we're stewards of that, and so we're doing the right thing by putting these. What's the word you use?
Easter eggs. Yeah, I did like Easter eggs.
I'm a foreigner. I like these little things that you guys say, and I'm like, what is that? Easter egg. Okay, what is that now?
Yes. Little treasures. So, are you a good clarinetist? I mean, can I ask that, or can you answer humbly but honestly?
Humbly, I've been first chair for the last 2 years in high school. First chair in my church, which isn't really saying much because they sucked. But and you know what that means as a violinist. First chair, you're kind of the leader, and you have to be the musical representative, the melodic representative for every chair that sits in your row. And so I wouldn't say that makes me the best, because I am trying to be humble, but a girl can kick some butt. Nice. And I will say, back in 1995, yes, I'm dating myself, we played Dillard High School, and my clarinets ruled the area. Yeah, we ruled that football game. And it was televised, and you can see me dancing. So if I get that footage, I am sending it to you.
Yes, please do. And I will put it in here. And
I was dancing and playing the clarinet, and you could hear like the quality and no squeaks.
Oh, nice. Oh, very good.
I was bad. Michael Jackson bad.
I was gonna say bad in a good way. Michael Jackson bad.
Bad. And I also sing. It's not just playing the instrument.
You sing too. Nice. Very cool. Yeah. You sing jazz, or do you sing? What do you sing?
R&B, of course, because gospel, of course, because I grew up with that.
Yeah.
I could probably hit any tune you could throw at me right now. But yeah, country music. I like country music too. The slow stuff like Bonnie Raitt.
Oh yeah, the old stuff, the classic country. Yeah, right. The Man in Black.
Oh, baby, love in the nick of time. I love that song. I'm sorry I was off key a little bit because of the cold.
Beautiful.
I love her voice, her style. That kind of country music is what I'm in. Not the achy breaky heart.
Oh,
that's cute. It's cute, but it's not my flavor.
What is your along these lines? What is your opinion about this new country where these country singers are doing rap?
You want my honest opinion?
Yes, I do.
I think everyone should stay in their lane respectively. I understand that.
My eyes are watering.
What's that song? I want to ride my horse to the old town. Okay, I get it. It has a nice beat, and you have a major country star with you, and you're trying to make, put your name out there. However, country music was, being a musician, and you know this very well, country music has its roots. And it's created a certain way. It's like a language. To me, it's like a language. That's the best perspective I can give on music. And each type of music, each genre of music speaks a certain language to a certain people. That's why you never see R&B drift off into something crazy.
Yeah.
It'll stay jazzy, it'll stay funky, it'll stay urban, but it doesn't, you don't jump ship. If you want to jump ship, go into that ship. And when I hear rap with anything else but rap, I'm confused. I just say I'm not from here. Anytime somebody asks me a question, I'm not from here.
I'm not from here. The best answer when you don't want to talk about it.
Not from you need to make money, and so you're gonna mesh everything together to get that dollar. A dollar make me holler. Honey boo boo child. I get it, but you can still make money doing rap. So just do rap. Don't mix it up with country. Country is classic and it's beautiful, and don't mix it up.
Don't mix it up.
But
it's like if an orchestra, right? Which and they have, like, there's Apocalyptica, the cellists who play heavy metal, but heavy metal's roots can be traced back into classical music, so it totally actually works. But I don't know. I don't understand the country rap whatsoever. The guy in boots and a cowboy hat and rapping and not even rapping well, but rapping badly. I don't get it. I said it.
I'm sorry. Do you have black in you? Because you are so chill. She said it. I didn't say it, but she's not wrong. I know people are out there to make money. It's no different than people like the Cardi B's or whatever coming out with injections that aren't necessary and will harm you later. I get it. It's all about making yourself a brand and standing out. I just think that certain things have lanes. And as a musician, I'm only speaking the melodic side of my life, not as a person, because you don't want my real opinion. But as a musician, I'm used to playing I'm hearing a certain sound when someone says country. Yeah. I'm not hearing hip hop. I'm hearing certain things when I hear hip hop. I'm not hearing whatever, because they've mixed in everything right now. Hip hop is mixed in everything right now. Classical music, I know about my European tribes, the Goths, the Visigoths, the Franks, the Nords, the Swedes. I know about that music. So you're absolutely right when you say rock and roll and orchestra have a relationship because of the history. You're absolutely on point with that. So they can blend, but country music was developed to tell sad stories, to make people cry, to make people heal, and to get drunk. And none of that has anything to do
with rap.
Let's kill the madness.
PF Felix, the author of Rennington Chronicles, The Night Professor. Where can people find you? Your website?
You can either go to pffelix.com, so pffelix.com, or you can type in Rennington Chronicles, RENNINGTON.com. And on my website, there's a buy books here. Click on that link and it'll take you to everywhere that it's sold. All of the sites that are selling it, you can find it on my website to save yourself some trouble, or go to your local bookstore.
And so I'm guessing you can get it on any ebook platform. You have an audiobook?
Yes, I do have an audiobook.
Well, I'm going to ask you to do one more thing before we leave. I usually have my guests take us out of the show, and so if you don't mind.
Okay, if you enjoyed this program, please like, subscribe, or share. It's an awesome show, and we hope you love it.
Initiation from the Rennington Chronicles by PF Felix. It was 11:55 p.m. The invitation said to be there at midnight and not a moment later. For Mitzi von Buren, this was the chance of a lifetime. Although exhausted after a week of midterms, tutoring, and working part-time on the farm, there was no way in hell she was going to miss this. "Can't turn back now," she exclaimed. "This is the opportunity I've been waiting for my whole young adult life. A chance at a do-over, but only if I become a member of St. Bartholomew's Academy elite class of scholar leaders. A true gargoyle." To her, it was worth any sacrifice. After all, how many high school sophomores got invited to a secret society? Like never, she thought. Yes, sirree, Bob, I've got to do it. As she waited by the river, she kept looking at her watch, nervous about the time. It's almost midnight. Where the freak is everyone? She pondered. This better not be another silly prank. Darn, what if it is? It wasn't like everyone was receptive towards her family's Hicks story. Although her GPA and IQ proved otherwise, she always got crap for being from the wrong side of white. Whatever the heck that meant. I'm not my family, I'm not my family, she kept repeating to herself. It was now 12:01 a.m. Sheesh, what the freak, she exclaimed. She stood up and began frantically circling about the area. As she checked the time repeatedly, the outcome was the same. No one surfaced. It was time to accept the truth. I thought this year was going to be different, she whispered to herself. For years, she tried so hard to fit in, yet the stain of her family's past would not dissolve. She could still hear them. Shouldn't you be inbreeding with your kin, like your dropout hick mama? I'm not my family, she repeated one final time. They played me, she thought to herself, and the why didn't matter. It was so obvious. They hate me, she whimpered angrily. I hate myself. I wish I could just... Then, from nowhere, she heard an unusual sound. What was that? She questioned, and hurriedly turned around to ascertain where the crackling sound of branches was coming from. Mitzi was stunned. The sound came closer and closer. It sounded like a wild animal with its raspy breathing and slight growling. Jesus, she exclaimed. She quickly hid behind two large boulders near a willow oak tree. What in heaven is? She whispered in terror. Then the growling started gradually amplifying. She peeked in between the rocks but couldn't see anything. Suddenly, sprouting up from behind, a dark shadow towered over her, masking her own shadow. She slowly turned around and screamed at the sight of it. The creature overtook her in a moment, viciously biting her neck. The bite was fierce and sharp. She immediately felt her head spin, and the darkness slowly consumed her. As her eyes closed, she realized it had begun. Good. Then it all went black. Moments later, she awoke to a familiar face. It was Tanya Lee, the president of SBA's chess club and leader of the Gargoyles. Seeing Tanya, coupled with a group of other SBA student leaders smiling gently at her, made the horror of the attack suddenly feel minimal. Hey you made it, Mitzi, said Tanya. I knew you wouldn't chicken out. It was you, Mitzi whispered. You sent the invitation? She slowly smiled. Yeah, I knew you were ready when you beat the cocky Belmont senior at last month's academic games. I saw your hunger, your desperation. Now you're one of us. From now on, Mitzi, no one will ever tease you or your family's name again. You survived it, and now you're officially a gargoyle, just like everyone before you. You're SBA royalty now, and you'll never be alone again. Welcome home, my sister. Welcome to the Pride. Mitzi began to cry. Thank you, she yelled out. Why are you crying, girlie? Rebecca Joyner quipped. You're one of us now. Your past is behind you. We are your new family now and forever. Wiping away longing tears, Mitzi replied, because I'm finally home. I'm free. As the group of kids circled the new fledgling, staring from a far distance was Chancellor Maggs and Mr. Von Buren. The gentleman was teary-eyed and took off his cowboy hat with honor towards his daughter. She had survived the demon. She finally ascended. Are you sure about this, Michael? Said a concerned Chancellor Maggs. She doesn't need to know now. All that matters is how she feels. She's proud of who she's become. That's all a parent can ever ask for. The Chancellor placed a hand on his shoulder to console the proud man. Mr. Von Buren then turned to her and said, Please don't tell her about her mother. Let's just keep that between us. But the metamorphosis, said a concerned Maggs. Let her just enjoy this time for now, he softly replied. She's earned it. And that was a story by PF Felix. To find out more about what takes place, you gotta check out the Rennington Chronicles.
Thanks for watching.
Dreadful dreams, that's what I was
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, subscribe, like, share.
Give it a thumbs up.
And have dreadful dreams.